It's Wednesday on the oil stream. Brought to you by Boston Pizza. Summer is short. Make any occasion a BP patio occasion. Hop on the BP's patio today. Try their new summer menu. Fresh eats and drinks to fuel all your summer patio hangs. And with that being said, next Monday, patio show. We are going to be at Boston Pizza Calgary Trail on the patio for lunch next Monday. Assuming we can get an extension cord out there and the internet works. We'll be on the patio, Calgary Trail, Boston Pizza location. Swing on by and join us. Me, handsome Tom Gazzola, probably wearing some expensive sunglasses or something. Sitting there on the patio, having a great time.
Yep.
Come on by for a Belgian moon and live your best life.
And rumor has it, this isn't the BP's, but BP's has 6 o'clock loggers.
That's right.
You can.
The one right by West Edmonton Mall.
That way. And how cool is that? It is that way. You always get mixed up. It is literally that way. It's not that hard.
It's like that way.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Are our hands pointing to the exact same place right now?
No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like we're diagonal.
I'm pointing straight down Mayfield Road right now.
Where you're pointing is going downtown.
No, it's not.
I'm pointing straight west, bro.
I'm pointing right here.
That's downtown.
Yeah, but our building's not straight west. Like, it's not north, south, east, west.
Yeah,
it's
but
like
this
turned
will
a bit.
take you to the mall. That'll take you way down south.
No, but so we're here.
Like
you have to go down here a bit, then turn left, and then hop on that road and go all the way down to the mall, which is right there.
Oh my gosh. Whatever.
It's not over there, Zach. You're not even close.
Zach's pointing that way.
Zach's pointing to Grand Prairie.
I'm using the GPS and I'm turning it. It has a dial. It has a compass, and it's pointing towards the window where you originally started pointing when we first brought this up.
GPS. I don't need a GPS.
It's definitely not out.
No, Zach doesn't.
Well, technically.
No. That way.
We are just off of the road that is 178th. And
111th comes that way, and then it goes straight that way.
Yeah, but doesn't it turn into 178th?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
It turns into
road. It turns into 178th on the other side of the mall.
Yeah.
That Boston Pizza's right there, next to Italian Center Shop and Wayne Sports Cars.
I don't know.
Crack a pack. I don't know. I think...
who's right in this? Put up a poll, Zach.
Sorry. Anyway.
I know. Trust me.
All right. It's the Oilers have provided us with a live. By the way, Reed Wilkins is just hanging out here. Matty Wannick's helping him with some computer stuff. Talking about the Acolyte. Just a real nice time.
It's been good.
All right, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 is where you can chime in today. The big discussion today, we kind of started on the Nielson show this morning with Gager and myself and YouTube Trev. See, Spency 5 cents, he says the TV is facing St. Albert. That TV is not facing St. Albert. Oh, yeah, St. Albert. Yeah, I was thinking Spruce Grove. That TV is facing St. Albert.
St. Albert's
so if
that
that's
way.
facing St. Albert, the mall would technically be like right down here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's where I was pointing.
No. You're changing it up.
I don't think I'm changing it.
Yes, you are. Play back the video. You're like slowly
my arm has always been right here.
I don't think so. Anyway, whatever.
So on your phone right now, you can see right where the Boston Pizza is?
Yeah, this is in the mall?
No, it's across from the mall.
Across from the mall.
I'm not talking about the one in the mall.
Yes. Right
by
across
Wayne's
the street.
and Italian Center Shop.
No, the way you guys are pointing is towards Mayfield Road. So
yeah,
it's
but
still
Mayfield Road
Mayfield
turns into 170th.
Yeah, but it does the dipsy doodles.
I know.
And turns down. I turned my phone 360 on the map, and the campus is showing me correct. 360 degree radius.
I was right.
It's towards the wind. Anyways, we're all wrong.
I'm bringing up actual Street View.
Yeah, that's what I have.
It's unbelievable.
Street View has it being back and over my left shoulder. That way.
I don't believe it. Yeah.
See, we're here.
Technology. I don't believe
Mall's
it.
down here. It's right over here.
Okay.
Anyway, Boston, that's a Boston Pizza that has 6 o'clockers. Yeah. So, end of story. End of discussion. Let's move along. Somebody ask us a question. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Guys, if Zach has a compass, he's probably the guy to trust. I don't know if we can trust anything Zach does right now. Not after the rap game.
Unbelievable. Yo. Comes in here with the most confidence I've ever seen.
I know.
Man. What's up? Yo.
Walks into the office this morning and goes, yo. I'm like, what are you doing? You just got torched by Clausen. What a beauty.
LeBron James.
What a beauty. Yeah, you just ended your rhyme with LeBron James. And I think you said game back to back. Didn't you rhyme game with game and then just say LeBron James?
I'm in the game
as well.
I need to finish games like LeBron James.
I don't know if that counts.
Boom.
You're like when you grow up, if you try so hard, you could become J-Rock from Trailer Park Boys. That's all I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God.
Okay. Zach's mic's off.
Got it.
let's get going on the oil stream today. Jimbo's in and says those August Thursday afternoons, boys? Or Wednesday? Yeah, August afternoons. Here we are. Now that being said, it hasn't been the way lately because the Oilers have been providing us with a ton of stuff. We're going to get into it. We talked about a little bit this morning. Are they a better team now than they were in the Stanley Cup final? Is their bottom six better than it was in the Stanley Cup final? Their blue line, all of that stuff. So we'll go there at 780-218-9999. And yeah, we'll get to some of your questions as well. Trev, I know a couple days ago, yesterday morning, I guess, it was hard on you. It was really tough. You liked Broberg. You liked Holloway. You didn't like seeing them leave. Had a little bit of time to think about this now. You see what they're trying to do. They're going to try to accrue cap space and basically roll into the cap with Evander Kane's cap being a part of it. And then we'll see where it goes from there. But has your opinion changed since yesterday morning at all?
Well, I will say I'm still a little disappointed. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't butthurt because I am. I'm just less butthurt because obviously that's what time does to you. But yeah, like I had to give it some time because I've noticed with me, I do get a little emotional and sometimes my emotions run high and some people don't like that. Some people do. But when I uploaded last night on my channel Above Average, it was just a quick little debrief. But people can disagree. Like I'm blown away that we put the poll up yesterday. 60% of you are happy that they didn't match, and I was blown away. And then I did a video last night saying the Oilers. I do think I can say they haven't got better. Like with those moves, does that mean they got worse? No, I think you look at it, they've kind of just stayed the same. The top six definitely has gotten better. The bottom six, I think has gotten slower. They take out speed, and today's NHL speed kills. You take out Warren Fogle, you take out Dylan Holloway, you take out Ryan McLeod, and
who all had their issues, but they could skate.
They
could skate.
So this team
Bottom
is
six is
significantly
way slower.
older. Bottom six has gotten slower and older. And then on the right side, man, like it's just the defense in general. Like you had NHLers, and now you're fitting in Ty Emberson, who could be an NHLer. Josh Brown, I don't know about that. It's just at the end of the day, they're not nearly as deep. I think that's what I'm getting at. And I don't know. It sucks. And I was just telling Dash, who was on the Hangout today, the part that annoys me the most is just the fact that you spend all this time, especially with Broberg. It's been 6 years. You're just developing this guy, or just watching him. And then he's finally good. He's finally there. Like if this way, he would have been a starter, right? That's no questions. He would have been a starter this year. And that's where it's annoying because you wait all this time. You do so much time, or you just do so much in developing this player just for what? A second round pick? So that's the part I'm most annoyed at. And people that disagree with me are saying it's an overpay. It's an overpay. You don't, but where I'm at is I see significant value in this player. It might be an overpay now, but by the end of the season, I think he could be a $4.5 million player. And I guess just that's my 2 cents. And then for Dylan Holloway, it might be a slight overpay. But I honestly think he could be a 40, 50 point player. And if you're paying $2.2 million for a guy where I see him being a 44 or 40 to 50 point player, that's not really an overplay. That's pretty good bang for your buck.
If they were a team that wasn't so up against the cap and they gave Dylan Holloway, let's just say $2 million a year, I don't think anybody in town's freaking out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think people are just like, yeah, okay, it might be a little bit of an overpay, but there's certainly some untapped potential there. He's going to have more of an opportunity to live up to that right now. So we can understand where they're coming from. If they're a team that have cap space, obviously they don't have cap space. That's why they've been put in the spot that they're in right now. Now, how much of this so we look at the conversation now, and it's been a really weird off season of conversations because they go and almost win the Stanley Cup. So then there's this automatic sort of proud of them, but still sad with the defeat. Then they have this Jeff Jackson free agency that we're all praising, and when it looked like they weren't going to sneak in another guy, they snuck in another guy. When it looked like they weren't going to get another guy, they got another guy. And at the time, you're sitting there going, wow, I mean, they've done a really good job. They can keep Broberg and Holloway here. It's going to be good. I don't know how they're going to get under the cap with it, but they've done a lot of good work there. So, and then the Bowman hiring happens, and whatever side you come out on the hiring of Stan Bowman and getting a second crack and not just getting a second chance, but getting like the best second chance ever, that was a conversation. Then you get the offer sheets. Then you see them make some moves, move out Ceci that you think is going to lead to matching at least one of the offer sheets. Then they let them both walk. Really fascinating offseason, the ups and downs. But, at one point the offseason looked great, and then it looked a little bit worse. And now it looks a little bit worse than it did before. See you later, Reed. But if we get to a spot in the future where they manage to keep Leon Draisaitl, and they wouldn't have been able to do that because they've got $7 million tied up in Holloway and Broberg, do you think we all look back at it and go, oh, boy, thank God they didn't give those two guys the money, because where else would they have got the $7 million for Draisaitl?
Yeah.
I think that there's a chance we look back on it and go, phew. Even though right now you're sitting there going, ugh. Tough look because you're so bad at managing your cap, it just cost you these two guys.
Yeah, for sure. And that's definitely the differing argument on the other side of things is you sign those guys up, you're probably not going to be able to sign Leon up. But it's like, I don't know, man. Jeff Jackson has been a little bit more creative, and that's where Kenny Holland he's pretty traditional. He'd never do anything too crazy as far as trades and signing and, retaining salary and whatnot. I just would have loved, to see it, to make it work. You keep those two players, you sign Leon Draisaitl next season, and who knows? If you can't make it work, if you can't sign Leon Draisaitl, trade one of the players, right? For what you got, and that's what I would have liked. I would have liked to seen that a lot, honestly. And then just with Holloway, I honestly, I'm blown away. The fact that they couldn't sign either one of them, especially Holloway. And I was wondering, I know you talked about this a little bit on the morning show, but if Holloway has a little bit of regret, and I don't know, Philip Broberg, he approached his Zoom call or whatever you want to call his FaceTime.
What did you think of that though?
Yeah, Broberg seemed a lot more business, it was a business, but with Holloway, in my opinion, I was like, man, I think he was really banking on the Oilers to match the offer.
Deer in headlights, man.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I honestly, that's in my, opinion. I think there was a little bit of regret there. Who knows? That's just what I saw. Because for Holloway, going forward, you look at Broberg. Yeah, he can definitely bring a lot more to the Blues. Their defense. He's going to be the guy there, right? Broberg wouldn't have been the guy here, but for Holloway, he could have built up his stock a lot more, I feel like, playing with the Oilers. As we've seen, the top six, it is pretty, you've got Skinner, you've got Arvidsson, but if he did get that spot, which I think he could have at one point, we saw this past year, I think he's putting up more points with Connor and Leon. So there is that as well. So in hindsight, yeah, in the long run, I bet, going forward at least, you will be able to sign Leon, not having almost $8 million of these players, but or $8 million worth of these players. But I don't know. It's tough, man. It just sucks. That's what I'm getting at. I'm very frustrated. I was big on these players a lot, man.
Well, I mean, they're guys. This team whose first round picks on, you should be high on them.
Yeah,
and it has backfired here.
Yep.
I'm just looking ahead. Well, we'll get to some of the salary cap stuff in the maybe a little bit later on in the show. But 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Lots of good comments on this. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube today, give us a sub. We're trying to make that push towards 10,000 subs before our 1 year anniversary. It's going to be tight. We are almost to 9,800. I think we're less than 10 away. So let's do it.
It's been a big week.
Yeah, it's been a big week. Huge shout out to Cap Mismanagement for helping increase subs. here at Edmonton Sports Talk. So, give us a sub if you haven't already. Let's hit 9,800 by the end of the day today, unless, if you're watching archived, you're watching live or whatever. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com and you do have a YouTube account, slide on over and give us a sub. We would appreciate that. Let's get to some of your comments here as well. And the comments are kind of all over the place, as they usually are. But let's dive into these. Statue Boss Productions says Broberg and Holloway's biggest asset to the Oilers was going to be their cost control. Once that goes out the window, their real team value, their near-term value to the team takes a nosedive. I think that was an autocorrect on the near team, but he makes a good point. And like the real reason you really want those guys is because they're cost controlled, and the Blues kind of took that away from you, a little bit. Guys, Bouchard didn't get or sign an offer sheet. The market decided that Broberg is worth $600 more than Bouchard because that forces the Oilers to walk in that situation. Loomis says, I don't think you say thank God if they can get the Draisaitl deal done, but maybe, that made sense as you look back on it. Because I was just looking ahead to the cap next year, and I'm still trying to learn the old Puckpedia.
Yeah, I'm having a Dickens of a time with that one too.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work around it. I'm trying to just see how much space do they have heading into next season with everybody they have under contract right now. They've got, where do you see that? I've got, their forwards are at 37.7 mil. Okay. Their blue line's at 19.7.
Going into, can you
so
go
what's
ahead?
that? 57.4.
Bring out the cap.
And then 3.6. So they're about 60. $61 million by my shoddy math here, plus $2.3 million for Jack Campbell still. So $63.3 million. That's what they have heading into next year. Bouchard's an RFA. Draisaitl's an RFA. Right now, they'd be about $20 million under the cap. That's not even enough to get those two guys done.
Yeah. And that's where they're looking ahead, right? And that's kind of what Stan Bowman was saying. It's just we're too pressed on the cap. And unfortunately, you got to bite the bullet. And, Jeff Jackson, in hindsight, I'm sure he would have held off on a few of the signings he made. Who knows? But, they're definitely looking to the future. And unfortunately, well, no, not really. Leon Draisaitl is the future, right? You want that guy because another interesting part of this is what does a guy like Leon Draisaitl bring in? He brings in players like Jeff Skinner. He brings in players like Victor Arvidsson, right? Is Dylan Holloway doing that? No, not really, right? When you have amazing players, good players like to play with amazing players, right? So that's why you're getting Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner. And who knows, right? They keep on doing what they're doing. It could add for more players coming in. And it is worth noting, Vasily Podkolzin he's okay. I'll be interested to see how he does because he definitely needs a fresh place, some new scenery. But man, when I was watching this guy in juniors, the World Juniors in 2020, he captained Russia, and he was just an absolute stud. And he led Russia in everything, points, goals, assists. And it's crazy how he just wasn't ever able to keep that going after his rookie season. You see that every now and then, but he's got a lot of skill. So that's one player I was intrigued. I'm I wonder how he will fit in. It was just so enticing, man. Dylan Holloway and Matt Savoy with Leon Draisaitl. I love the thought of that. So it's interesting. But
so here's so under the Oilers on Puckpedia, as we all learn it, cap projections is where you can see, right? So right now for this upcoming season, they're $945K under right now. For 25-26, with an $88 million cap, they're $24.6 million under the cap. We're talking for next season.
Yeah.
Because you look at these two contracts would have been on the books for next season. So that would have been $7 million. Okay. They have 24 million.
17 million.
They have 24 million available in cap space with everybody on their roster under term, not this season, but next season. 24 million probably be exactly enough to get Bouchard and Draisaitl done.
Oof.
Right? That's it.
Yeah,
If you're looking for another reason why so if they tacked on the 7 million for these two guys next year, literally impossible to get Draisaitl and Bouchard done without having to move off another like 5 million somewhere.
Yeah. And regardless on how high I am and, will be of Broberg, I can't see him being what Bouchard is to the Oilers, right? He's the guy. He'd have to just put up crazy numbers. And I could never see him doing that, right? So Bouchard's the future on defense, and Draisaitl, obviously, and McDavid, they're the future going forward. I think that's fairly obvious, but it's just at the expense of losing. I just wish... You never know, though, and that's where I'm getting at. If they do sign these guys, you wait a year and trade them and see what the value, see what you can get, the assets and whatnot. And I would have preferred they took that route because it's an option, right? They could have done that, and so yeah. And now I don't know when the next date is. I know some of the nasties were putting it. It'll be interesting to see what Broberg and Holloway. Will they get booze? I'm assuming there will be a lot of booze in Rogers Place when they come back. Will they get a nice, what is it, with the videos, the honoring?
No, these guys didn't even play 90 games.
Yeah.
They played 89 games and 81 games. There's no tribute video for these guys.
That's what it is, tribute video.
And there will be booze. There should be booze.
Yeah.
I think there should be. Do you think there should be booze? I know it's a part of the business, but these guys still said, screw you, see you later. We're going to St. Louis for money. Go ahead and boo them.
Yeah. No, I think, that's fair. They're gone. They chose, and I think that's why the majority, it's like if the majority of the fans of the Edmonton Oilers are just like, you don't want to play here, then good. We don't want you. Right. And that's kind of what their mindset is. So I get that. I just, the Dylan Holloway thing, I wonder if his dad and mom are like, you were always a Flames fan growing up, and now you're playing for our rival.
That's what Gager was claiming yesterday too.
Yeah, Bragg Creek native, grew up in the Rockies there, so there is that. And growing up, he said, I was the biggest Flames fan, but now it's changed. It's like, did it really? I don't know about that.
Took money to go play in St. Louis.
Yeah,
he
looked sad, man. I'm telling you, go watch the video, nasties. He didn't look. He was like, yeah. I'm really excited to be a Blue. It was nothing crazy.
It didn't look good. And that was the clip that the Blues clipped. Yeah. They would probably be looking for something happy. And it's just like, really excited to be here. Get to know the guys. Fighting back tears like he's on a hostage video somewhere.
And he was I imagine, he was at McDavid's wedding. I know, I don't know how much stock you put into that, but he's like, oh, I'm looking forward to you being on the team, man. This is going to be awesome. He's like, yeah. Me too. But
ouch.
Yeah, so I don't know. He was there.
The Broberg thing, Broberg's relation, it seemed rocky along the way anyway.
And I think
that one doesn't surprise me, but I could see Holloway being really pissed off that this is how it ended up playing
I think
out.
so. I honestly do think I'm pretty sure, I'm confident in my opinion that he was betting on the Oilers to match it because it's $1 million overpay for him from what the Oilers were offering, but that's why I was just like, at least one, at least one.
Well,
it's the youth.
So, what they're at, like 950 right now?
For
they got 950 in cap space.
I thought it was a 1.9.
No, it's 950. It's 950, but they could send another guy down.
And that's where that would come from.
Corey Perry could be sent down. You could use that 950 in cap space, send down Corey Perry, and almost had enough to sign Dylan Holloway.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to, if you're the Edmonton Oilers. They could have made Holloway work.
They could have.
If they really wanted to keep him. So I think they could have made Holloway work, even without Kane going on the LTIR, if they wanted to. They would have had to send down a couple of guys that can clear, but you could have got the 2.2 mil if you wanted. And I think that probably stings them even more, knowing that there was a way, and they were still like, "See you later, kid."
And this just goes into the bottom six. What we're talking about, Derek Ryan or Dylan Holloway. You're telling me you want Derek Ryan over Dylan? No, absolutely not. Dylan Holloway is an absolute stud. He just he's so entertaining to watch, and the puck follows him, man. Like he's a really skilled player. And if you look what he was able to do at Wisconsin, his first year was meh, but his second year it just shot up, man. Like, and I like to think that would continue. He's got a heavy shot. He's physical. He's entertaining. He won the fans over. He brings a lot to the table, man. He really does, and he can fly like the wind. He's such a shifty skater out there. So that's my 2 cents. That's the way she goes. It sucks.
Loomis says the Perry signing felt and still feels unnecessary.
Yeah,
like the Perry contract plus this money almost could have got it done as well.
Yeah, I think they jumped the gun on that. Like, obviously, they jumped the gun on that way too quick. In hindsight, they're probably like, and then, is that Jeff Jackson just being inexperienced, right? Like,
got
maybe
excited.
Maybe all these guys.
He's just cooking on free agency day.
Yeah, and I guarantee, like, if Corey Perry doesn't sign with the Oilers, there's a good chance that right now, like, I don't know who's really just gunning for Corey Perry right now. Like.
Yeah, he could have at least come in at league minimum.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know how Corey Perry got more than league minimum at this point.
Yeah, so.
Ross, RCN says Connor Brown's 3.25 penalty sure hurts now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a really good point. As good as he was, like, as better as he was later in the season than he was early in the season, that still stings. That still costs you Holloway too. Like that,
yeah.
There's another thing. I think you keep Holloway easy. Without that, let's get to a couple of text messages from people texting in for the first time ever.
Ooh,
how about this?
That's nice.
This is real nice. 780-218-99. This is in from Nels. First time he's ever texted in. Hey guys, love the shows and love the success you're having. Keep it up. What I don't love is this whole RFA situation that happened, but it's business. And in my opinion, Broberg wanted out of Edmonton previously, and this move doesn't bother him. And for me, I feel it's a huge overpay. The one that stings is Holloway. I was really starting to dig having him in the lineup. That being said, he's no longer an Oiler, and I'll pay very little attention to him. Best of luck to the two of them, but time to focus on some huge extensions coming up, and fingers crossed Bowman doesn't screw it up. Go Oilers, go. You guys rock at EST. Nels. No, Nels, you rock. You rock, Nels.
That'd be.
RC and Ladner. Hey, guys. This is first text, too. Hey, guys, do you know if Holloway and Broberg were informed that each other were getting the offer sheets from the Blues? I wonder if Dylan might have not jumped on it if he knew Broberg had signed for such a high dollar amount. We were talking about this yesterday morning. I'm pretty sure people were saying they saw somewhere that the agents were aware of what each other were doing in this spot.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. Just getting like used to like a new team. In St. Louis, just from what I've heard pre and post all year long with Tommy, it's nothing to write home about. Like the St. Louis City, I don't know, but I've never been there, but I don't know. I just feel like for Holloway, he's got his whole career to bank right now. Like this wasn't the contract to bank, especially to move a whole new city to not a contender. That's another puzzling question.
Yeah, he could be looking at it though, going, okay, I play here for 1.1. They squeeze me again next year because they're still not going to have money for him.
And it's just the same.
Right. We were just talking about how even if the cap, somebody said, I thought the cap was going to go up to 96. I don't know if the cap's going up to 96.
No,
it's 88 now. I'm sure there'll be another jump too, but they're still like going to have to commit like $24 million to Draisaitl and Bouchard. So I don't think there was a $4 to $5 million contract coming down the pipe in the next 5 or 6 years for Dylan Holloway either, regardless of what he did. I'm not sure he gets or deserves any of that money in St. Louis after 3 or 4 years, but he could see how the books were pretty much locked up by the big boys here as well. I mean, that's another way you can look at it. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Cash says, how long do players have to sign the offer sheet once it's presented to them? Well, that's the thing. And Matt Gramala made a good point on this morning because he said, they shouldn't be called an offer sheet. They signed a contract with the Blues. It's not like the Blues said, hey, here's our offer sheets. You've got 3 days to sign, and then the Oilers have 7 days to match. It doesn't even become a thing until these guys sign on the dotted line for it. So I guess they had as much time as they wanted to decide if they wanted to take that route. But there was no here's the offer sheet. You've got 2 days to sign it. It doesn't become an offer sheet until it's signed. And at that point, it's a contract with the St. Louis Blues that the Oilers just have an opportunity to match.
Yeah. Going forward, I think this was Dash that sent this in, but Bo Akey coming up on the pipe. He was injured a lot this year, which is too bad, but from all accounts, like this guy, who knows? But it would I'd hate to see the same thing going forward. Draft this or just develop this guy, but I think he's the real deal. Absolute stud. It'll be cool to see him this year if he is healthy, because he looks good, man. He's a pretty shifty.
But you're still looking player. 3 years down the road.
But it's still,
right?
Yeah, like, and that's the thing.
Like he played 14 games this year.
Yeah. Got
to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Play a season.
But there's that.
Work your way into pros eventually. So
that's the way she goes.
Had a nice second year in the Ontario Hockey League, though.
Yeah. But it's just so thin right now, Dusty. It is. The defense. Ty Emberson, Josh Brown, Brett Kulak. You've got Bush, Matthias Ekholm, Nurse. Like, that's nice, but like those other Brett Kulak, he can be good at times, but
okay. Let me throw this out there. And it was an RCN.
Defense was never their strength.
It was an RCN text. And I didn't get to it this morning. The show this morning was absolutely jammed. I don't even know if I'll be able to find it, but he was basically saying, because for the last few days we've been talking about how, in my opinion, the blue line is not near as strong as it was at the end of last year. Now, he did point out that, can Emberson be as good as Desharnais?
I think so.
Okay, so
there's that.
Let's call that a saw-off.
That was never the biggest.
We've only watched him play for 30 games. We haven't even really. People have watched him play for 30 games in the National Hockey League. We'll see what he's capable of. I think the people who are being like, he might be able to play top forward, Nurse, are probably shooting a little bit high. But he seems to be an NHL defenseman in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so how much of a drop-off is there between Desharnais and Emberson? Not a ton, we think, but we'll see where that goes.
I don't think Vinny Desharnais has won the Eastern Defensive Defenseman Award of the Year, voted amongst his peers in the AHL. But Emberson has. So there's that.
So you can look at those two guys combined if you want. Broberg to Brown, I think, is like Brown on a Stanley Cup contender probably should only be your number 7, shouldn't play. We were thinking Broberg probably had what it take by the end of the year to be top 4. There's a big drop there. So I think there's a big drop.
Zach to come. Broberg, Brown. How about that?
Okay, and then there's Ceci Stetcher. And what do you think about Ceci? Like, Stetcher's played hundreds of games in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, man. I think, honestly, the biggest...
I think I probably sold Ceci a little bit short, so I'd say he's still a better defenseman than Stetcher. So maybe the blue line's not as bad as I've been imagining it for the last 2 days, but I still believe this blue line would be much better with Ceci, Broberg, and Desharnais.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And when the Oilers acquired Troy Stetcher, I think I was one of the biggest... I was pro Stetcher. I wish he was in quite often... more than Vinny Desharnais, if you're new. The pre and post, I was always harping on Vinny Desharnais, but Troy Stetcher, I think he brings a lot to the table. He's faster, and I was always just comparing him at the time to Vinny Desharnais. He was faster. I was always looking at their hits as well, and oftentimes when Stetcher was in, he was more physical, and that might be a hot take, but I was always checking in at their hits, and I mean, it's just hits, but he was laying the body. Like, he's a smaller guy, but like, he can play physical. He can. He's pretty fast, but when he was playing for the Calgary Flames and they decided not to re-sign him, I was like blown away. I watched a lot of Flames games and I was like, man, Troy Stetcher is quite noticeable.
He gets around, yeah.
Yeah, he does get around. Puck on net kind of guy. He's not a bad player. So honestly, the Stetcher CC comparison, I'm not for the money. They are different defensemen too. It's like they are different for sure. But like what you're getting for money, like bang for your buck, if you will, Troy Stetcher. Honestly, maybe a hot take. I'd take him over Cody Ceci at whatever he's making. So that is, that's my thoughts on that. But and then going forward, I don't know if he is going to be ready because he did have the offseason injury or this surgery. So there's that. But if he does fit in, yeah, that's one player I will be excited to watch. maybe not excited, but yeah,
something to see.
Yeah, something to see.
Rod Z says Max Wanner can step up. He looked great. Expect big things. I think you might be a year early on that conversation.
Yeah,
but it could be a situation where, and I'm not disagreeing with you on the player. I just think it's probably, this is an off-season conversation for next year, but they're not going to stay completely healthy. They're not going to be as healthy as they were last year on the blue line. So maybe there is an opportunity that he gets in and makes the most of this year for a 10-game stretch or something. And that changes the conversation a little bit as well. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Penner's Pancake says, guys, the names on the right side aren't sexy ones, but we'd all like that we would all like, but I think they'll be fine to start the season.
Yeah, time will tell. Time will tell, that's for sure.
Probably end up having to start the season that way and then go from there. Who was it? Let me just see here. Where is it? Nasty chat's been absolutely. Yeah, so Gordon McDowell, as in McDowell's from Coming to America. You've never seen Coming to America, have you?
Nope.
Didn't think so. That was McDowell's. It was like a knockoff McDonald's. They've got the golden arches. I've got the golden M. It's Coming to America is great. I love that movie. Anyway, McDowell says, strange thing was paying to dump Ceci and then turning around and not matching at least one of the offer sheets. That was the part that made the least sense. Well, but once again, as the whole sort of situation develops over the last little while, they obviously just want to go in to the offseason, cap compliant with Kane sitting there so they can accrue some cap space working towards the trade deadline. So they had to move Ceci to even accomplish that.
Yeah.
Right now, by moving Ceci, like we said, you move around a couple other pieces up and down in the lineup. You could have kept Holloway, but they just want to be under or right at the cap.
It's crazy, man. It's honestly crazy. Looking at the roster turnover, and I forgot the tweet that I saw yesterday, but people coming in and the people who have come out, like, man, it's just, this team is always a roller coaster. And what started as the best offseason I can remember, like waking up on free agent frenzy, I was like, wow, like this team has significantly gotten better. But it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I can't say the same right now. Like, they might have gotten worse. Like, I don't know. It's it just sucks. I keep coming back to it. Just sucks, man. I still wish they signed those guys, but I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get over it.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999 is where you can chime in. Justin of Balgoni says the Oilers forward group looks amazing, but the D could use a little work. And you know what? The D will get their work. Mm-hmm. They will. It might come from within, but at some point pre-deadline, they will add. They'll take whatever cap space they're able to build up prior to the deadline and then pump as much of it that they can into a right shot D-man to play with Darnell Nurse. I'm assuming that's probably the strategy that they've talked about as they try to get under cap, and how are we going to, as an organization, they're sitting there going, how are we going to make sure this blue line's good to go come playoff time? And it'd be like, well, let's save the cap space and go get somebody at the deadline. That would probably make the most sense. Portions of the oil stream are brought to you by Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. Boneless wings now available. I said earlier this morning, had a classic chicken sandwich from Popeyes yesterday for lunch. You cannot go wrong. It's somehow crunchy, but still super soft. It's really a miracle of science. It's just what it is at all of your Popeyes locations. I did want to get to, like I said, the forward group looks amazing. The forward group is interesting because the top six looks better than it ever has. We'll see how Kane factors in when he returns in some way, shape, or form. There's the whole Savoy thing. Is he ready out of the gate to contribute? I'm not 100% sure on that one. Maybe he is. I don't think you're penciling him in right now. So the Edmonton Oilers, the forward group, is undoubtedly more talented with Skinner and Arvidsson, but their bottom six are kind of old and slow. Man. Like it's old and slow to the point where maybe some young guys do step up this year. And I know Stoff's always talking about the Philp kid who was a Golden Bear. And I think he's going to have to get back up to speed playing hockey again after being away for a year before things like that happen. But Henrique, Perry, Derek Ryan, Matthias Janmark, Connor Brown, and then Podkolzin would be your bottom 6 as of today. Could change. By the time we get through a training camp, you're sitting there going, okay, well, actually, their third line is...
who knows? Could it be Podkolzin, Savoy, and Henrique?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just going to say.
Henrique, like...
Yeah, and then you go Perry scratched, and you go Matthias Janmark with Derek Ryan and Connor Brown.
Yeah.
And you hope that they got some of the juice from the postseason. So I don't know. Their bottom 6 is slower than when they had McLeod and they had Holloway and they had Fogle lurking around there. But their top 6 is
sweet.
It's so much better than when you had to put Fogle up there, or you had to mix in Janmark up front there for a bit, or Perry was getting shifts with McDavid for a little bit here or there. So it's probably a soft up front because their top 6 is so much better. Probably a little improved up front. Their top 6 is so much better. Bottom 6 looks like it'll still work, but I'll be interested to see what the combinations are like, and if they just lock in Henrique, Janmark, and Brown, and it just becomes a thing, and then you're rotating Perry, another guy from the American League, Podkolzin, and Ryan.
Yeah.
Sort of on a fourth line.
Yeah, I'll be interested for sure. Next Monday, mix and match Mondays. First time without Dylan Holloway in the lineup. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see what
I gotta start thinking about this.
But yeah, it's a whole new. It just looks so different, man. Like with who are, and I don't know if there is Podkolzin, the Järventie kid. That'll be interesting to see. Like I don't know, they by all accounts he's super skilled. When we had. On the oil stream there, just getting the scouting report on him. Like
the Ottawa guy we had on was very, very
man, he was big on him.
He thought he was good, yeah.
So that'll be interesting for sure, but it's just the depth there. It's not nearly, and say what you want about Ryan McLeod and Warren Fogle, but they did contribute at times, and it was just depth. Like it was more depth, right? So those guys are out. You got the new guys coming in. I don't know if they're necessarily better. I don't really think so, but they're definitely slower and older. And I don't know how that'll do going into the season.
I mean, there's a job in the lineup to win.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think Corey Perry can play every single game for you.
No.
So there's a job in the lineup to win for somebody. There's at least one. And yeah, we'll see if somebody I saw Raphael Lavoie.
Yeah,
pop up there, and Savoy, and Roby Järventie. So maybe one of those guys changes the vibe of the bottom 6 a little bit, and then you're running Derek Ryan between 2 youngerish wingers, and you're running Henrique with Janmark and Brown again.
Yep.
So that's something you could look at as well. I do hate the fact though that people are talking the PTO on the blue line.
That's what I was just trying to find.
This just goes to show where you're like, if we were sitting here today talking about Desharnais, Ceci, and like if they just ran back the same blue line they had at the Cup last year, and I know with Desharnais being able to leave and get probably more money than he was worth somewhere, but if they did, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about PTO. Interesting. This kind of sucks for the blue line that we're sitting here in late August going, who can they get in on a PTO?
Yeah.
You'd like to have things stabilized back there. And maybe in the Oilers' mind, it is with Brown and Stetcher and Emberson. But
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. That's for sure. Do you think Justin Schultz or Tyson Barrie fits into the picture?
No.
No, I don't think so. I thought I saw it in the Nasty channel. I was trying to look at UFAs right now. But no, that's definitely not the guy you want. And who knows? I was talking about it, this Emberson guy. I'd be lying if I said I knew a lot about him because I don't, but by all accounts, he's pretty solid defensively. I think he was a minus 6 in 30 games with the worst team in the league last year. That's not bad. It'll be interesting to see. He could be your shutdown, right shot defenseman. which would certainly be huge. And there is always that factor, a hope factor for some of these players coming in.
But going from 30 games on the horrible San Jose Sharks to being the huge shutdown transition. Right pair guy on the Oilers, the Stanley Cup contender blue line, he's going to have to be an amazing player. You're going to have to be an amazing player for us to be sitting here going, wow, what a stud. Like I just don't see a world where that exists. I mean, best of luck, man. But I want to get to this one too. Squeaky Wheel says Connor Brown did take a team-friendly deal and makes up for the bonus. I'm sorry. He got $1 million. He scored 4 goals last year.
Yeah.
He was supposed to get more. Come on. I know he heated up, but I'm not sitting here going, wow, team-friendly deal for Connor Brown when his cap penalty is still completely screwing them over. Like, who's going to go out and give Connor Brown $2 million? You're acting like he took a discount to stay. Teams were lining up for his 12 points and 4 goals in 71 games. I'm sorry. A lot of these teams already have their Connor Browns. Don't tell me $1 million for a guy who had 4 goals last year is team friendly.
Yeah.
I can't buy into that. I'm sorry. You're putting too much stock into a playoff.
Yeah. And that's another argument, just going back to the whole Broberg and Holloway is Broberg, he did show up in the playoffs, but a lot of players do. I always look back to Devontae Smith-Pelly for the Caps when they won the Cup. He just crushed his regular season numbers in the playoffs. You see it, right? Connor Brown, he could come back to earth next season. So it's team friendly. Yeah, no, I don't buy into that at all. I think that's fair from what you get. He put up not that many numbers, and that's going to get you $1 million contract. So I agree.
This one is in and says, people that watch Perry on TV and think he's slow should go watch him. He is slow live. I noticed that in the playoffs last year. He was painfully slow the 2 nights I saw him live. I could do without that contract right now. Well, they must absolutely adore Corey Perry, the individual, and the guy in the room, and a veteran that you can lean on, because
definitely more than me.
There's a very minimal impact on the ice here, I think, moving forward.
Yeah.
There's not a bounce back at this stage of his career for Corey Perry.
It was this is a little bit off topic, but just scrolling through YouTube in the dog days of summer, there's every now and then you'll just see highlights from the players of when they were just younger, and it was all the goals scored from the 2010 Olympics, and just watching the players, it blew my mind seeing Getzlaf and Perry, and maybe it was the 2014 I watched in Sochi as well. They're just skating like the wind, man. And Patrice Bergeron, from when I watched him in recent years, pretty not the fastest guy, but you just see him just ripping it, and I'm like, wow, I never realized how much the age plays a factor into speed until just looking back at it, seeing all these players, just how slow they actually have gotten and how fast they once were. It's like, damn. But he is slow. He is absolutely slow. Everything about
he's
Corey
39.
Perry. Yeah.
He's not supposed to be fast.
Yeah, no.
He must have made a great impact when they brought him over, and they're like, we think you will be vitally important to the mental state of our team.
Yeah.
When required, because there's no way in the playoffs next year you're going, man, you know what this team needs? They need playoff Corey Perry.
They need Corey Perry in here.
Playoff Corey Perry this year had 1 goal in 19 games.
Oof.
So
I was there. Shout out.
Were you there for that one?
Yeah.
Nice.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one.
Very nice.
Yeah. But it's interesting, man. I'm fascinated. I can't wait for puck drop. And I'm sure a lot of you nasties are ready as well.
It's to the point where it's been such an interesting offseason that I'm kind of technically excited for a preseason puck drop. But I'll tell you, 3 games into preseason, I'm going to be like, okay, enough of this.
Yeah, let's just get
to the regular season.
Yeah,
give me a look at Savoy. Give me a look at Ruby Jarventi. And then we'll move on from there.
Yeah. It is a big question mark, man. Before all of this, all the recent, transactions the Oilers have made or not made, I was like, hey, this is legit a contender. And do you think they still follow under that label?
Yeah.
Contender?
I do.
Not as confident?
Well, not as confident as I was when I thought they were going to somehow be able to keep Ceci and Broberg and Holloway.
Yeah.
But I still... Now, I mean, we'll see. Arvidsson's got to click with whoever he plays with. Skinner's got to click with whoever he plays with. An aging bottom 6 has to stay healthy. The Emberson, if they don't acquire somebody else, will have to step up. But I still think when you look at around the rest of the league, yes, the Edmonton Oilers are still a top. Like, I had them as the clear-cut Stanley Cup favorite going into next season.
For sure.
I'd probably put them in a group of about 3 to 5 teams now that I would view as a cup contender.
Yeah. I think that's where I am as well. It was no question for me. I thought I was looking forward to the first full year in my life, I can honestly say. Just a season of no controversy, just steady the whole way. And now it's like, I honestly feel like it's just going to be run it back to what last year was. There's definitely going to be some low moments. There's going to be some high moments. But I don't know what to expect of this team. It's tough, man.
Well, we'll see how they're going to get off to a better start than last year because it can't be any worse. And then they'll go from there. All right, that's going to do it for the Oil Stream today. Presented to you by Boston Pizza. And make some plans on Monday. Patio show. Myself and Tommy Gazzola. Patio show. Boston Pizza. Calgary Trail. Swing on by. Join us for a Belgian moon, a blue moon on the patio at Boston Pizza. That should be a lot of fun. That'll be on Monday, the 26th. Myself and Tommy Gazzola. Patio show. Calgary Trail. Boston Pizza. Make plans to join us that day. Trev, good job once again, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Well
Thank
done.
you, Nasties.
Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Talk to you later, buddy.
Have a good one, bro.
Let's go work on lyrics with Zach.